Karibu tena sana mtazamaji na msikilizaji wa Celeb Corner KE, natumai uko sawa, uko salama popote ambapo unatutizama ukiwa. So many of you have had a lot to say in regards to President William Ruto association with the Adani group and the conglomerates za kutokea kule nchi za Middle East. But now allow me to take you back kiasi so that I will really unfold to you what business Ruto has with the Middle East countries and mostly the UAE, the United Arab Emirates. Remember, a company by the name of Apiero is one of the companies that has benefited mostly from the SHIF tender, which is a consortium of the Safaricom company. Now, allow me kiasi ndio niwape uhondo venye inatakikana to give you a tell. I gave you this story back nyuma kiasi, kuna story ambayo niliwapea. It was a leak that was made by Citizen Weekly. Na ilikuwa leak ambayo ilionyesha when Ruto was the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, in November 21st, the year 2020, a publication was made that President William Ruto had secretly traveled to Abu Dhabi in Dubai, ambapo he held a meeting with Adel Kawanja, his personal lawyer. Now that meeting, the person that was there was the head of a bank in Abu Dhabi. The money that Ruto had gone to withdraw there, it was the money in Adil Kawaja's bank accounts, but those bank accounts zilikuwa on the name of his lawyer, but in real sense the money that was in those bank accounts was Ruto's money, only that he did not want it to be traced back to him. Skiza, in the year 2020 hapo 2021 we had the Pandora Papers leak, ambazo zilikuwa Pandora Papers zinamuexpose the former president of the Republic of Kenya together with his family Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. You know, the Pandora Papers, they only revealed that the family had about 3 million US dollars in private accounts huko majuu. That is equal to 30 million Kenyan shillings. Tunaelewana? Hiyo ni pesa kidogo sana when it comes to the Kenyatta family. But do you know, if the Pandora Papers were supposed to dig deep into the current president of the Republic of Kenya, William Ruto, and look mostly into the Middle East countries, including the United Arab Emirates, the Saudi Arabia, even India, you will find that President William Ruto has trillions of money hidden in shell corporations in those countries, Asia and Dubai. Allow me tuanze hii story polepole, ndio the time we are done with this story, I tell you, by the time I am done giving you this story, you will understand why your president is a man who called himself and campaigned on the slogan of the Asla whatever, Asla Ngoa. Remember the Asla narrative and whatever nonsense was being sold to arrogant, not arrogant. They were not arrogant. They loved the man genuinely, believing that he will change their lives, believing that he will change the Republic of Kenya. But tukiweka kando zile leak za Pandora Papers, ita open a blanket yenye President William Ruto will do anything in this world to shut. Now listen, according to a leak and a publication in 2020, it was revealed that billionaire Adel Kawanja secretly met then Deputy President William Ruto in Dubai. Details headed and details emerged of a secret meeting between DP Ruto and billionaire Adel Kawanja at a private villa in the Maldives neighborhood of Dubai. Then, According to a source close to the Signals Intelligence Agency, SIA, formerly known as the National Electronic Security Authority, NESA, United Arab Emirates Intelligence, the discreet meeting attended by, among others, the CEO of Abu Dhabi Islamic Bank, ADIB, Mr. Sadeep Chouhani. A credible source of SIA revealed that Adil Kawanja's bank account at the multinational bank belonged to Mr. Ruto. He was seeking assistance to secure billions of dollars ahead of a possible trial at the Hague. Sikizeni, hizi account zimefunguliwa kwa jina ya lawyer wa Ruto, Bwana Kawanja, ambaye ndiye chairman sahihi wa kampuni ya Safaricom hapa nchini Kenya. Hizi account zimefunguliwa under the name of Kawanja, but the money in those bank accounts, tunaelewana, the money in those bank accounts belonged to Deputy President William Ruto then. You always ask yourself, why did Uhuru Kenyatta always label this man that he trusted so much in their first term as a brother? In the second term, he labeled him as a corrupt individual. You always ask yourself why Fred Matiang'i was so bitter speaking about how Ruto has ruined the economy of the Republic of Kenya. It was revealed the Ruto's trip was so secretive. The Ruto trip to Dubai then in 2020 was so secretive that the presidential escort commander assigned under the DP, Deputy President William Ruto, for a moment then couldn't account for Ruto's whereabouts. Ruto had traveled with only two people, former Mombasa Senator Hassan Omar and his PA. The Kenyan embassy officials in Omar and his PA. The Kenyan embassy in the UAE, the Kenyan embassy in the UAE was caught unaware of Ruto's short visit. The DP had chartered a private Bombardier Global 7,500 executive jet from JKIA to Dubai. Mr. Adil, the managing partner of Dentons, Hamilton, Harrison and Matthews then, is said to have had 23 years experience and in-depth knowledge in real estate, environmental and planning law. He is one of the most renowned lawyers in Kenya, having dealt with complicated land issues and regularly advises on eco-conveyancing for clients in the tourism sector and the government of Kenya. Come back to the year 2022. Immediately in September, when Ruto was sworn in as the President of the Republic of Kenya. According to a publication dating back in the year 2022, it was published by the African Intelligence website in 2022 September 28. Ilikuwa tu ni wiki kaa moja after Ruto ameweza kufanya nini? Kuappointiwa president. Mnaniuliza mbona Ruto afanye, mbona Ruto wakuwa associated na kampuni ambazo, why are these company winning tenders in the country? Ya Adani inachukua matenda venye inataka, aiulizwi maswali. Listen, Ruto ametoka huko Abu Dhabi, hiyo ni 2020 akiwa DP akitafuta pesa ya kukampeni na kufanya mambo yake. Tunaelewana? Come after ameelektiwa 2022 September 28th, that is Ruto was, I think, sworn in, sijui ilikuwa September 18th or September 15th. Tunaelewana? Ruto on 28th, the African Intelligence website, The Continent's Daily, published and said, newly installed as President of Kenya, William Ruto hasn't wasted any time relaunching a partnership with the United Arab Emirates, the UAE, huko Abu Dhabi, where much of the preparations for his presidential campaign took place. Now several burning issues are back on the table. Mumesikia? Where much of the preparations for his presidential campaign took place. Mipango ya kufanya Ruto president ilipangiwa huko UAE na inchi the Middle East countries. Tunaelewana? Tuko pamoja mpaka hapo. ndio mwelewe, when we will have the Pandora Papers, we open the Pandora Papers za rais wenu President William Ruto, ndio mtajua ya kwamba the guy, achana na utu to billions. You know, right now you people rank Rutos in billions. This guy is a trillionaire right now. The last 2 years, the amount of money that President William Ruto has accumulated under his regime is something that wewe mwenyewe hauwezi imagine. You know, right now they have brought a fight between him and his deputy president. Now, fast forward to America. Now, before we fast forward to that, Ruto, Abu Dhabi interest in Ruto state visit. Munakumbuka? Ruto state of America. How much? Hii jet ilisemekana imegharimu serikali ya Jamhuri ya Kenya pesa ngapi? Munaweza kumbuka? 200 million Kenyan shillings. According to a publication by the East African magazine. Nataka kuwasomea hii nayo. Hapa tuna go na fact, hapa tunachimba facts, ndio mwelewe relationship za Ruto na hizi countries za huko na mahala ambapo tumefikia as a country, and why we should get off our beds and start thinking twice, kwa sababu these Adani deals. Ruto, before hata niwasomee hii ya the East African magazine, let me take you back kiasi. Ruto visited Abu Dhabi. It was in this year. I think so. Ruto visited Abu Dhabi. It was a mystery visit to Abu Dhabi. And then, after kutembelea Abu Dhabi, Ruto alitoka huko. Hii visit yake ya Abu Dhabi huko Dubai haikuongelewa. Yenye iliongelewa ni his visit to where? To India. Now listen. According to a publication by the Daily Nation, from Dubai, President Ruto on yet another trip. Hizi nchi ukiziangalia na mikakati ambayo inaendelea nchini right now, you will relate them. Dubai and India, UAE and India, Abu Dhabi and India. Uko ndiko hawa watu ambao wana win tenders worthy hundreds of billions and trillions of Kenyan money wanatokea. Listen, according to the Daily Nation, they published this and said, President William Ruto has left Dubai, United Arab Emirates, where he attended the United Nations Climate Summit. The president is on his way to India, where he is expected to spend 2 days advocating for healthy education. This publication was made on 4th of December 2023. Ndio nawambia, mipango ya hizi deal haikuanza juzi, na hizi si deal za kwanza zitafanywa chini ya hii serikali. Hizi si deal za kwanza zenye tutaongelea, zingine hata zimefanywa under the curtains that we don't know. Only these ones that came to light that we know. Listen, President William Ruto left Dubai, United Arab Emirates, where he attended the United Nations Climate Summit. The president is on his way to India, where he is expected to spend 2 days advocating for health and education. He is expected to hold bilateral talks with the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on areas such as agriculture. Kumbuka, huyu jamaa anaitwa Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, is also a cousin to Adani Gautami, the current CEO of the Adani Group Limited. Tunaelewana? Tuko pamoja mpaka hapo? Sitaendelea. Hiyo ndio visit yake ya nini? Ya kwanza. Ilikuwa which year? Last year. It was the second visit to Dubai after being appointed as the President of the Republic of Kenya. Because his first visit ilifanyika December, secret visit ilifanyika December 2022, where the president alienda Dubai na akarudi huko Abu Dhabi. He is always traveling to Abu Dhabi, and he doesn't go alone. He is in the company of his personal lawyer, Bwana Adil Kawanja, the current chairman of Safaricom company. Sometimes huwa anafanya hizi vitu hata mwenyewe nacheka, because how these information correlate. You know, now listen, another one here. This is what ties Ruto directly to Dubai and the Abu Dhabi and the UAE country. Now listen, President, it was a publication by the East African magazine. On their website, they said Fred or 4. President Ruto admission exposes UAE's hard in honor of Africa. President William Ruto speaks during the National Prayer Breakfast at Safari Park Hotel in Nairobi on May 30th, 2024. Hiyo ndio alipata kuongea. Na there is where the admission came. Tunaelewana? There is where Ruto admitted that ile ndege alitumia, the plane that Ruto used to fly to where? To the United States, ilikuwa ni ndege ya kutokea UAE. Tunaelewana mpaka hapo? Listen. The United Arab Emirates UAE is both friend and foe depending on who you may ask. In Nairobi, President William Ruto called them friends of Kenya after they gave him an aircraft to use for state visit to the United States of America. State House spokesperson Hussein Mohammed later said the government saved money after the UAE gesture allowing Kenya to pay just 10 million Kenyan shillings, which is equal to $76,973,000, instead of the 200 million Kenyan shillings, which was equal to 1.54 million US dollars it would normally cost. Hii ilikuwa ni kisa na kisanga cha upumbavu ambacho tulipewa. Now, as explained by the president then, the cost of the jet he traveled into the historic and successful US state visit was offered by Friends of Kenya at a relative low cost. In this specific case, the United Arab Emirates government offered the aircraft at a less than 10 million Kenyan shillings, he said. Let me ask you, which country does such type of business? Tulikuwa na ndege hapa za KQ, we had KQ flights. We had the Kenya Airways, which the president could have used to travel to the United States of America. But he was given a private jet by the UAE, the United Arab Emirates government. This jet costed 200 million Kenyan shillings to travel to the United States of America. When Ruto was making his statement on ratifying on the cost that was spent, he referred to the UAE as the friends of Kenya. Tunaelewana? The friends of what? The friends of Kenya. United Arab Emirates is one of the richest countries in the world. And people who have done business with this country are some of the richest people in the world. But this country has also some shadow dealings behind it. You know? And that is why during President Uhuru Kenyatta's regime, he realized that Ruto was so much dealing with the UAE that he cut ties with that country. Ruto he even planned and yani mikakati na mipango yake ya kuwa rais wa Kenya most of the time ilikuwa inapangiwa UAE, according to the African Intelligence website. Tunaelewana? That is why 1 week after he was appointed the president and sworn in as the president of the Republic of Kenya, he went ahead to relaunch the relationship between UAE and Kenya, because his business interests mostly are based in the United Arab Emirates and mostly in Abu Dhabi. Zile biashara na accounts zile Ruto wako nazo huko na pesa zenye ziko huko Abu Dhabi za Ruto, that money can fund the economy of Kenya for the next 20 years. Tunaelewana? Na hii si pesa huyu jamaa alifanya clean dealings akapata. These are corrupt dealings that he made. Na ndio maana when people like Adani Gautami, Ruto, while he was on his state visit to India, which was on 4th of October, 4th of December 2023, he had a meeting with the Adani CEO while he was in the presidential palace, in the prime minister's palace in India. Na remember alikuwa anatoka wapi before aende India? Alikuwa anatoka UAE. Now State House did not explain how the UAE came to offer the jet, considering he had traveled on other official trips recently. Now on Friday, the UAE embassy did not immediately respond to inquiries about the nature of this transaction, but it led to critics to question whether the gesture. Now listen, opportunist in this case, but it shows how vulnerable Kenya and Ruto is in particular. But the question is, what did they get in return so that they could donate a jet as though it was a petty cash? That was a question that was asked by Macharia Munene, a professor of history and international relations at the United States International University, USIU Africa. Professor Munene thinks accepting the offer was a risk to Kenya's reputation, but it could also damage Kenya's role in regional peace bids. Kenya has been pushing for peace in Sudan, backed by the United States of America, to have varying parties lay down the arms. It complicates his role in Sudan because now he appears friends with those who are accused in Sudan of backing rebels and hence warmongers there. He added, referring to AU's dalliance with the Rapid Support Force, RSF, one of the warring factions in Sudan. Just because he was to the US, Ruto had met with civilian groups and armed factions who are not aligned with either the RSF or the ruling JUTA, the Sudan Armed Forces, SAF. The idea, sources indicated, was to generate a third track of non-violence and use local civil groups to persuade warring sides to head the violence. Now, hii ya nini hatutaiongelea sana. Hii ya Sudan, remember, also Ruto was on a secret trip to Khartoum, which is in Sudan. Recently. Now, should I remind you that the President of the Republic of Kenya has dealings with a country called Saudi Arabia, one of the richest countries in the world also, where we are right now dealing in oil transactions with Saudi Arabia and all that. But should I remind you that Kenyans working in Saudi Arabia have been dying due to the working conditions there? But the President of the Republic of Kenya, President William Ruto, never at any time condemn what happens there. The government of Kenya has been given direct orders never to speak on what happens in Saudi Arabia or try to interfere with the working or with the people. Whatever happens to them who work in Saudi Arabia or the United Arab Emirates, wacha wafanyikiwe huko. Wakikufa hiyo miili either ikae huko ama iletwe. It's none of the government's business. Mnajiulizanga mbona inakuanga hivyo? It's because Ruto has business interest there. Zile pesa huyu jamaa ameweka kwa hizo inchi, the money that is in those, and let me tell you, it does not do it directly. Hizi pesa ziko kwa akaunti zake. He has shadow characters, including his lawyer, Bwana Kawanja, who is a billionaire. Hawa watu, huyu mtu akifungua account huko zionekane ziko na pesa za billions of money, hawezi ulizwa. Kwa sababu they know he is legit. So, pesa ikikuja inatoka huku inaenda huko mingi sana. It's stored in those bank accounts. But the accounts are in the name of this man, but the man behind the money is William Ruto. Is it a mystery that Kipchumba Murkomen was arrested in Dubai with 200 million Kenyan shillings, but that case never saw the light? Hiyo case haikuona mwangaza nchini. Ask yourself such questions and you will understand. Let me ask you, why did the UAE award Ruto a jet kwenda nayo United States of America. Kwani Kenya hatuna majeti za kwenda nazo huko? Don't we have planes ambazo huwa zina fly kwenda America? Ruto Pandora Papers in the UAE and the Middle East countries, when they will come to be unfolded, the people like Adani who he has dealings with, au ni wachache sana. Wakati zitafunuliwa ndio mtajua mjui. You will realize the amount of money that is taken out of our economy and invested in those countries. Sisi tunacho tukiumia tu na mnaendelea kuimba asela hapa. I don't think I can open your eyes more than I have done. I've done the due diligence. It's about you now to do what you want to do with that information. Naachia hapo. Make sure una subscribe.